You know, we all love a good scary story, right? But have you ever stopped to really think about why it gets under your skin? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're not just telling tales, we're taking them apart, piece by horrifying piece, to really understand the machinery of modern fear.
So just imagine this for a second. What if your journey never ended? You're on the road, heading home. You drive for miles and miles, but you never actually get any closer. The same landmarks keep popping up over and over. That road, which should be a symbol of progress, of escape, it becomes your prison. It's a simple but absolutely terrifying thought that taps into a really primal fear of being lost and powerless. To get to the bottom of this, we're going to dive into 5 really popular stories from the Hindi horror channel Kuni Monday. Think of it like this. We're on a mission to dissect these stories, to find the common threads, those recurring patterns and psychological tricks that are just so good at getting under our skin.
Okay, let's start with one of the most powerful themes we've found, the journey that goes absolutely nowhere. This is where that familiar comfort of a road trip, a symbol of freedom and adventure, gets totally twisted into this suffocating, endless nightmare. And it's a fear that kind of hits close to home, in a world where, let's be honest, a lot of us feel like we're just running in place sometimes. And this isn't just some one-off trick. This fear is basically weaponized in 3 of the 5 stories we're analyzing today: the anniversary trip, the fog, and the Nainital trip. So let's start with the anniversary trip. You've got a family on what should be a really happy drive home from a party. But after they have a near accident, they're forced to turn back, and that's when they find themselves caught in this bizarre loop, completely unable to make any real progress. They're driving back to Delhi. They pass a milestone. It reads, Delhi 280 kilometers. Seems normal, right? Nothing strange about that. They just keep driving. Then, a little while later, they see the sign again. And the distance, it hasn't changed. Delhi, 280 kilometers. That's when the confusion starts to creep in. A little knot of unease begins to tighten. Like, wait, did we misread that? Or is something fundamentally wrong here? And then it happens a third time. Delhi, 280 kilometers. This right here is the core of the terror. It's not a monster. It's the fact that the laws of physics have just broken down. They are well and truly trapped by the road itself. Now, let's look at the fog, where this whole theme kind of evolves. The danger is spelled out right from the very beginning with this super ominous warning from a cab driver. All of a sudden, a simple patch of weather becomes this malevolent thing. The journey isn't just a trap anymore. It's actively hostile. Okay, our second major theme is an absolute classic, supernatural justice. This is what we can call moral horror, where the characters aren't just random victims. No, they are being punished for their actions, their arrogance, their disrespect. In a world that feels so uncertain, there's this grim satisfaction in seeing some cosmic rules get enforced.
So what does this actually mean? Well, in moral horror, the supernatural world acts like a kind of cosmic immune system, punishing anyone who breaks these unwritten rules. It means your own personal flaws can literally come back to haunt you.
It all starts with the crime. So take Sam from the story Krampus. His sin is pure arrogance. He bullies other kids and is just consumed by his own pride. Now, look over at the friends from the Nainital trip. Their mistake? Utter disrespect. I mean, they're mocking the dead and taking selfies in a haunted cemetery.
And in moral horror, the punishment always fits the crime. Sam's pride is literally burned into his skin by the Krampus, leaving a permanent scar. Meanwhile, the friends who disrespected the dead, they're forced to confront their own mortality in the most direct way imaginable, by finding their very own graves in a shared nightmare.
This brings us to our third theme, which is, honestly, maybe the most psychologically devastating of all, the time loop. It taps into our deepest existential dread of monotony, that fear that we're just reliving the same terrible day over and over and over again. Until Dawn is the perfect example. At 6:45 p.m., the horror kicks off, the friends are killed, only to wake up again right back where they started. The clock reads 6:45 p.m. They die again, maybe in a new, even more horrific way, and they wake up again. The true horror isn't dying, it's the endless, inescapable repetition of it. And what's so fascinating is seeing how these themes connect. Until Dawn gives us a temporal loop, being stuck in time. But remember the anniversary trip? That was a spatial loop, being stuck in place.
They're really just two sides of the same horrifying coin, the complete and total loss of control and progress.
And this is where that supernatural dread gets a big dose of grim reality. The friends were trapped in that loop for 8 days, and a news report at the end confirms that's when they were officially reported as missing. Their own private hell, their time loop, it just ends with their complete erasure from the world. So, we've looked at cursed journeys, moral punishments, and these inescapable loops. But this all leads to the final and I think most important point. The real horror in these stories, it isn't the monster. It's the trauma that comes after. This is the ultimate takeaway here. Survival is not a victory. In these modern horror tales, escaping the haunted road is just the beginning of a whole new kind of torment, the psychological damage that never, ever heals. Let's just go back to the fog for a minute. The friends survive, yeah, but at what cost? Look at Yavin. His mind is completely shattered. And Rhea, who made the mistake of opening the car window, is now haunted for life, seeing that terrifying shadow everywhere she looks. They got away, but they never truly escaped. This idea is captured perfectly in the final line from the anniversary trip. The narrator says, "We reached home safely, but the fear of that day is still settled in all our minds. The event is over, but the horror has found a new permanent home inside their heads." Which leaves us with one final nagging question. These stories we consume, they have a beginning, a middle, and an end. The credits roll. But for the characters who actually live through it, and maybe for us after the screen goes dark, does the fear they plant in our minds ever really go away?